Bonjour. Welcome. My name is Patty Contenta. Mon nom est Patty Contenta. I am the founder of sensualitysecrets.com. Et puis, it's an online business based on my ballroom dancing background. So, je viens du background de la danse sociale un peu. J'ai fait de la compétition pendant plusieurs années. J'ai une école de danse à Laval qui s'appelle Arthur Murray. Et puis, tout ce que je vais vous parler aujourd'hui à propos de femininity and sensuality, ça vient de ma base de la danse. Et vous expliquer comment la sensualité, on peut, how do we exude this as a woman? How do we create this? Good? So far, so good? All right, so sensuality, le mot sensualité, what does that mean? And for me, the idea of sensuality is about being subtle. It's about creating some mystery. It's about tantalizing. OK? Bon, tous ces mots-là en français qui veut dire, y a-t-il quelqu'un qui veut participer ou on comprend les mots? On comprend? Okay, good. Okay, good. So, in order to embody sensuality, in my opinion, from the background that I have, it takes two types of energies, what we call sexual energy and feminine energy. We need those two things. So let me explain sexual energy. L'énergie sexuelle, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? It's ultimately the ability to arouse or be turned on, whether it's through the body or the senses. That's it. It's not anything else but that. And we are often aroused throughout our day, are we not? Kind of, more or less. About what we eat, I get aroused by what I eat. I don't know about you. I'm Italian. If something good's in my mouth, I'm aroused. So sexual energy is attached to the idea of being aroused or turned on by life, by things, by the senses, and by the body. Good? Then we have this side, feminine energy. And feminine energy is about being receptive. It's about being passive a little bit. It's not necessarily about doing anything, but about receiving and being in our emotions. Est-ce que j'ai besoin de répéter ça en français ou on comprend? C'est beau, excellent. So we have these two types of energies within our body. And how we use these energies creates a more sensual appeal. All right? Now, one of the reasons I did this was because after my divorce, I needed to get back out in the sort of dating game and meeting people. And I realized that I kind of forgot what that was about. And I used my dance career, my dance techniques to start applying that in everyday life. So I thought about there's a way how we walk onto the dance floor, there's a way how we move on the dance floor. Il y a une façon qu'on bouge, qu'on se touche, all these things that make me feel feminine and sensual as compared to masculine, if that makes sense so far. So, and usually the struggle with women, why we have difficulty with our sensuality is there's three common things that have showed up a little bit in my work. One of them is the good girl syndrome, is we're so caught up with trying to be right and appropriate and not be vulgar that we shut off any kind of sexual attention. So there's that. Then there's another woman that maybe is a high-powered woman that is kick butt at work, leadership position, professional competence is very strong, but her flirtatious, playful side, she kind of left it aside because there's no place for it at work. So she tends to embody that a lot. And then there's a third type of woman that is perhaps a little bit more tomboy-ish, on va dire, because she does a lot of things that are about normally considered masculine traits, which are, being in activities that are predominated by men, perhaps, or they dress a little bit more masculine. So there's that tomboyish look. I firmly believe that the modern woman is a combination of all those things constantly. And what we need as tools in a way to step into our sensuality is how do we transition? So how do I go from work to playful? How do I go from working out at the gym to flirtatious and playful? How do I go from I'm taking care of the kids and I have to be appropriate to now I'm on this situation? So my goal through what I do is using our physical bodies to transition from those different positions in our lives to being more playful, sensual, feminine. Make sense? Okay. And part of the process This comes from, again, my dancing background. Part of the process in dancing is the ability to melt ice that we have built up. If you can picture when a man and a woman and they're coming together, and his role is to melt her ice. And her role is to allow the ice to melt. So when we dance, we're constantly trying to create that. So then I said, can I do this in every day? And then I started to adapt that. So there's 4 transition tools that I talk about in my work. There's several, but these are the 4 key ones that I'll use to remind women to melt into their feminine essence or into her sensuality. Makes sense so far? Everybody got me? Men, what do you think about that idea? Is that a good thing? Thumbs up? Okay, wonderful. Awesome. So key number 1, okay, is what we call lean back. I'll show you visually, and then you just might, maybe you'll get up and try some of these. I'll let you have fun with it if you want to. But first, I'll explain it so that you see me visually do it, okay? Lean back. One of the things that we do a lot today, because we're on computers or we're leading, is a forward lean stance. So if you look at me, I'm here, and I'm talking, and I'm doing this, and it's much more of a forward, confrontational, business, get things done. Do you see my forward stance? Yes? I'm here. In the receiving end of femininity, you want to feel like you're leaning back. So I go here. See that little tweak? The second I lean back, when I'm in the presence of a man, I show up more open. Lean forward. We're talking. Lean back. See that? So when I sit and have coffee with him, I lean back. I'm talking on the phone. I lean back. Whatever the situation, I physically take my body stance because I want to melt my ice, which all day long has been building up from taking care of this, doing that. So we don't even realize that sometimes we'll show up in the presence of a man, still in our forward, or let's say another type of energy, which is more rigid. So the second I actually put my body weight in my heels, and I feel it down in my shoulder blades, I lean back in my stance, and I slow down. Like even my talking slows down a little bit. I don't know if you understand that. So it's one of my ways that I step into the second I'm transitioning from, I've been taking care of business and now I got to go, okay. So I lean back in my walk. I lean back when I sit. I lean back in everything because it reminds me to receive. So far, so good? Easy tool. Try it out. Lean back. Tool number 2. This is one of my favorite. It's called ITA, Inner Thigh Awareness. It's the key that made all the difference between a masculine essence and a feminine essence. I teach men sometimes in dancing to be masculine. A man has to take space when he dances because he's the protector. So he opens up his legs wider to take up space, to say, nobody touch this woman, she's mine. And sometimes when I'm even coaching couple of men about how to talk to a woman is to take a power stance much wider, because just from this stance you kind of feel that, hey, she means business, and every woman wants to be with a man who means business. I mean, really, in the sense of you can take care of business, like I'm strong, I got it. So a power wider stance gives that impression. Now if we stand like that as women, we don't realize it, but we could be demonstrating that. So ITA is inner thigh awareness, okay? Because when we dance, I'll show you in dancing, and then I'll show you how you use this in everyday life. Dans la danse, if a woman does this, it's okay, right? But if a woman does this, do you see the difference? So here's one essence, more open, obvious. Sensuality is about being subtle, boom. So I tell her inner thigh awareness when she dances. So when I stand, I have inner thigh awareness. When I sit, I have inner thigh awareness. If he's driving me somewhere, I have inner thigh awareness. If I'm standing at a coffee shop, I have inner thigh awareness. I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. This is, again, to remind myself, woman, female, softness, approachable, receive, not receiving. Do you understand the difference? So catch yourselves, because you might be walking around and standing around in this position all the time. It's not a bad thing. It's if you want to be tantalizing, you have to be, how do you create that in your physicality? So that's through inner thigh awareness. So I'm not saying you have to do this all the time, but once you know how to, it's like a dial. This is what I love about these things. It's like you turn up the dial, you turn it down. When do I need to be this? Okay, now I need to be here. So inner thigh awareness was another key that really helped me feel more feminine in my dancing and step into that essence when I would be with someone specifically of the opposite sex. Because in the end, we want him to be drawn to you. This might not draw him in. Okay? This is you, me, let's go head to head. This say you and me, let's chat. Right? Lean back, inner thigh. You got the idea so far? Good? Those are two simple ones. Good. Third one, I learned this the hard way. It's called self-touch. When I was ballroom dancing, I had one of my coaches came up to me. My partner and I were doing the rumba. The rumba is one of the most sensual dances of all the Latin dances. And so he puts on the music, and here I'm off. I'm in my position. I start doing my thing. And 10 seconds into the song, he shuts the music, and he comes up to me in my face, and he says, Patty, do you love yourself? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to get into issues, but I think so. Well, he said, you could have fooled me, because a woman who loves herself loves the way she feels. She loves her skin. She loves everything about herself. So I said, okay, so what does that mean? So instantly, in that moment, this masculine guy turns into a woman. Est-ce que tu me comprends jusqu'à date? Ça va-tu? T'as juste à... Okay. So in that moment, there's this guy who's like this. He goes, you know, and he boom. And he starts inner thigh, and he starts touching as we were dancing. All of a sudden, he's touching himself constantly. So instead of me going, look at me and look at me dance and ask attention with, see what happens when you want too much? Wait, okay, good. So the idea was my arms were flailing. They were out. So when you take space with your arms, it's more... again, protector, and I was moving them, and he said, as a guy, I don't know how to approach you. I'm like, I want to come on this angle, but you've just flicked your hand out, or come on this side and just flicked your arm out. So he said, a woman that loves herself enjoys how she feels, enjoys the touch of her skin. So he said, touch your arm before you take it out. Touch your hair before you take it out. Touch your thigh before you take it out. Suddenly, my dancing changed overnight, because here I was never touching myself. So I said, can I do this when I'm out? Yes. The only thing you need to remember is to stay away from the hot zones, okay? The hot zones are here and here. So you stay away from that, and you're clean. So you touch your outer thighs, you touch your arm. So when I'm on a date or with a guy, to remind myself this is a reminder to switch, right? To go, how do I melt? How do I melt? How do I melt? I touch myself. So I'll touch my hair, I'll play with my clavicle bone, I lean back, I do my inner thigh, I touch my shoulder, I touch my forearm, I touch my thigh, I touch. And he's going, I don't know what's going on, but I like it. Because there's something, he doesn't, now he knows, the few of you know that are here that heard the secret, okay? But ultimately what you're doing for the woman is try to melt that ice that we've had built up all day long. And it just shows a certain comfort that you have with your body. Because in the end, when you're comfortable with your body, he's attracted to your confidence, where I love how I feel. So the skin it's a major organ, and the more we touch it and enjoy how it feels, it helps you relax, and he senses that's happening. Do you understand so far what I'm saying by that? So self-touch in any way, shape, or form feels fantastic because it allows you to soften. And, you know, you could be having a conversation and I really, you know, you have no idea. I've even done the massage thing where I had a little bit of a sore neck and I'm just kind of talking. And then he goes, your neck seems to be in pain. I said, it is. Can I help you? Of course. Who will refuse a massage? I wouldn't. I'm just saying, I need one all the time. So you'd be surprised how willing they are, but they'll notice that in the sense of your energy. And the idea is, if you're of the school of you want to look approachable and be the kind of woman that, wow, I can say anything to you, you have to know how to switch that physically. I do it through physicality. I'm sure there are many ways. I'm all about the body. So that's the self-touch thing. Make sense so far? Good? And then the fourth and final thing is the voice. We don't realize sometimes that our own voice, we have what we call a passive voice and an active voice. Active voice is what I'm using to describe something to you. I teach, I get into my active. I motivate, I get into my active. I lean in, and I tell you, you need to do this. Passive voice is about creating rapport. So I have to slow down, I lean back, and I have a conversation from a slower pace because it's about you and me connecting. So sometimes when we get out of our work day or whatever, our energy level is, our endorphins have kicked in. I don't know, but I did this once. Oh my God, by the way, I had to get ready, time out. Dance competition, and I needed to, when I do a dance competition, I try to get in a little extra better shape, so I watch my food more, and I cut out carbs, and I turned into this hyperactive, crazy bitch. Because, I'm sorry I said that out loud, but I did, because when you cut out carbs, that slows you down. When you don't have that, you're on a So and I go on a date. Don't go on a date when you cut out carbs. Wrong. He was like, oh my God, what the heck happened to you? No passive voice. I was like, oh my God, and like this, and he's like, he got scared. He really did. I laughed about it because I so recognized, and I couldn't even stop myself. The hormones were just like flying high. So note to self, do not date anybody if you are off carbs. Just saying. Little note. Anyhow, all that to say that there's the active voice and there's the passive voice. And the active voice is that forward, teaching, motivating. When you're getting things done, you're at work, you tend to be more active. The passive voice is slower. Again, I lean back to remind myself of that. And when the second I lean back, the tendency is to slow down, to just kind of allow more air to get into my lungs. And I'm able to sort of listen and have a dialogue as compared to lean forward and tell them what to do. And hey, how's it going? And you understand? It's just a different approach. So usually those are the four things that I kind of step into. So the first one being lean back. I mean, if you just think about putting your weight on your heels every time you stand there and you're having a conversation, you will this may start to happen. Second thing, the idea of inner thighs whenever you're sitting or whenever you're walking, and we're going to try that if you're game, okay? But I'll finish up. Third thing is the self-touch, because the second you do it, just allows you to enjoy how you feel, and that enjoyment is felt from the male perspective. And the final thing is be aware of your voice, your tonality. There's the active voice and there's the passive voice. Passive allows for dialogue more than active. Active, you're telling somebody. Passive, you're talking with someone. Question so far. Is this easy to do? Oui, vas-y. Yes. Lean back. Okay, you know, it's a good point in that, and I'll tell you, can you be my dummy? So, my person. Sorry, God, that was terrible. So, to your point, there's personal space. I was in a conversation with someone this past weekend, and he got too close, so he was in here. So that's what happened, and that was me. And so we do have to recognize that there's a personal space that we need to respect. But if I'm in this personal space and we're talking, and you lean back a little bit in your energy, and then you sort of squeeze your thighs a little bit, good, and you angle your body even a little bit more. Now, look at that. That doesn't look like someone that's closed off. So that was the other thing that I didn't tell you. What makes a woman feminine is angles and curves. Straight is masculine. Straight is masculine. Angles and curves, feminine. So when you're standing, oh, c'est merveilleux. T'es montes encore plus, t'as trop de courbes. Il n'y a rien de trop. Jamais. Embrace that. Absolutely. So, did you see what I did to her? Do you guys want to see? Now you're not, so you're going to be using you. Do you want to see the whole process? So, it was a good question. So, we got the straight look. So, I said, lean back a little bit in your energy. Boom. Inner thigh awareness, one knee in front of the other. Create an angle and curve. Boom. More feminine. So when she's having a conversation with a man in this situation, hi, thank you. Are you comfortable? She's asking, are you comfortable? Be very honest. Yeah. Right. And again, it's more because Caveman, cavewoman, as much as we think we're smarter, not that we're not, in the end, what makes me want to is how sensuous you are. And it doesn't mean it means sex. Understand that. Sexual energy is about tantalizing, arousing, and turning up. And I believe you should be turned on by life, not just by men, by everything. So this is my way to turn myself or any other woman on, is to say, boom, step into that, enjoy it, see what happens. The worst thing that could happen is you say no. I'd rather have to tell 10 guys no than please notice me, right? So the idea is, how do I make myself more visible to the opposite sex and satisfy myself in the process? Because I feel better when I'm like this than when I'm like this. I just feel like I get tired. Aren't you tired? I'm tired of being like this. Superwoman. We're tired. Take care of me, please. Right? So, c'est vrai. So this kind of helps you create that. Thank you. You can sit. Give her a nice hand. Yay! So I'm glad you asked that question because it was important. But just to show you, they're a very playful and willing partner here to embody the idea of approachability and of melting, regardless of the man being around you or not. Ultimately, it's for yourself. But hey, it's fun if you get attention. I mean, I do it for that. Okay, good. Any other questions before I go on? No questions? Comments? Does this feel wrong? You can be honest, or bad, or no, or everybody's good with it. You're good. It's funny. Funny's good. Funny in a good way or weird? No, fun. Okay, good. So now let me just demonstrate to you, and then maybe you can think about this. So if you think about, I'm going to talk to you about a walk, because walking is a common thing that we do. And if you become aware of how to walk in a more feminine-ish, sensual manner, it's another way that you walk every day where you can turn it up. All right? So this is how most people walk, and men, women. We have somewhere to go. And the tendency is we lean forward, so we lead with our heads, and I have to go there. Okay? You see? I'm going there. I have a mission. Right? So a feminine woman who's into her sensuality says, I have a mission. I'm going to lean back, and I'm going to move from here. So I don't move from here. And we move from our sexual part of our body. So we don't do this, but we move like someone's pulling a string out of my belly button. So that if I do nothing else and I move from here, do you see it's different? Yeah? Okay. Easy fix. So masculine, getting something done. I have to get, you recognize yourselves, don't you? Okay? Feminine, I have something to get done. I'm coming. 30 more seconds later is not going to make or change anything, but it'll change the way I show up in an environment. Makes sense so far? Yes? Easy to do? Men, thumbs up? Okie dokie, beautiful. So you got the idea of the first part is where you're walking from, women. Good? Men, for the few men that are here, I would say walk the same way. The only difference that you guys do is you spread your legs because we want to know what you're made of. So I tell the men to walk the same way but with their legs apart because that's a masculine guy. Do you see what I just did? Women wouldn't walk that way, but a guy takes up space. Make sense? I teach my men, walk on the dance floor. The judges need to know that you're going to take care of me. Spread your legs, walk hips first. Boom. They're like this. Got it. Position. Makes a difference. It's true. So for the few men in the house, try that on. Good? Okay. So, yeah, look at him. He's got it. You've got it. You don't know it, but you got it. You got it. Good. All right. And he's still got it. That's right. You come on over. C'est pas tout ce qu'on parle, hein? You're listening? It's good? All right, good. So you got the idea of the walk coming from here. Now if you understand inner thigh, you want to apply the idea of inner thigh, not necessarily by doing the supermodel walk, because that's just too much. No, exactly. No. It's about being aware. So I'll try to do it this way. Here, see, I feel very guy-like when I walk like this. But if you look at yourselves, you might be doing this. Now that you know, Yeah, okay. So we have thighs, women. So just be aware that your thighs may want to touch. T'as vu? Did you see? Okay. So the thighs may just want to touch. You're aware of them. Do you understand? I feel them-ish as compared to not feeling them. I feel like I have something in between my legs, and I don't. Make sense? So catch yourselves. Allow them to kind of frotter un peu. C'est correct. It's more feminine. Make sense so far? Of the walk? Good? So you've got the idea of the inner thighs and you got the idea of coming from here. Then the last kind of thing about the walk, if you will, is don't underestimate the power of your behind. One of the sexiest and most sensuous things a woman was able to do when she danced is the power of her back. So it wasn't about what's going on in front. It was going on behind. You see what I just did? This is in front and this is behind. So when I walk, I'm aware of my behind. I don't care what's in front. I'm aware of what's my back, my caboose, all of that. So putting your attention to what's going on behind you creates a different projection as compared to what's going on in front of you. This is too obvious. Understand the idea there? So your shoulder blades, if you're just sitting down and you connect with your shoulder blades, just do this. Press down on your shoulder blades, lady. Go ahead, just for fun. Try it. Wake up your back. Your back is like, that's how you react. He gives you a little tap on the shoulder. You react with your shoulder blade. Oh, it's like, oh, that was nice. Thank you. Your back is what is the key to sort of creating that subtlety as compared to the front. The front, obvious. The back, not so obvious. Do you see the difference? So when I walk, the extra third step would be aware of your back. Just wake it up. Know that it's there, that it's alive, and you know it's important to feeling feminine and sensual. I normally make everybody try it. I get the feeling, I don't know if you guys actually want to stand up and do it, but you may not want to, you may, do you want to or do you don't? Too self-conscious, no Patty, we're just going to embrace it and then do it at home. Good, okay, I got it. But normally when there's no one watching and it's just the girls, I get you guys doing this in a room so you actually start to physically feel it so that you actually understand the difference. Go ahead. Sorry? And my back? Sure. Okay, so we're tweaking it up. So we got the belly, we got the inner thighs, and now we have the back. You see? Did you see? I was subtle. I'll do it again. Okay. One piece is coming off. Hold on. Okay. So I'll do first belly button, inner thighs, back. Did you see? I just activated my shoulder blades. And suddenly, it's like, what's going on with, you know, that, who's that? What? Right? It's for that pay attention, I'm here. Make sense? Were you able to see it? I didn't just, and was it a big difference? No, yes, but no. It was a little tweak to make a big effect. And that's what sensuality is. It's about the subtlety that creates this. Make sense? Good. So we got the idea. One of the things I said to you was also women always create angles and curves, self-touch. So when you're in a situation where you're about to sit down, it's a moment to create an angle and a touch. So let's bring it back to the dancing world. In the dancing world, I can make a woman stand like this, or I can make her curve, right? And an angle. So here's my chair. I'm about to sit down. I could just get the job done, or I could create a curve before I sit down. Do you understand the difference? Oh, on this side. So, oh, put it, okay, sorry, yeah. Chair. I could just get the job done and sit down, but I missed a wonderful opportunity, especially if I'm with a man, and I can go, thumbs up or thumbs down, gentlemen? Oh, and women also. Did you see it or you missed it all? Okay, he's like, yeah, I saw it. Okay, good. So it's just a moment, right? So then an extra thing, I said self-touch. And thighs, not inner thighs, that's the hot zone, outer thigh. So I could sit down and touch my outer thigh. and then give myself a little hug and say, that felt so nice, and then continue the conversation. And, right? You got the idea? I mean, I'm being playful, but when you're aware of it, that's how you change your mood. The whole point of this is go out and be playful with life. And these are one ways. You know, there's chairs everywhere. You walk all the time, and you get turned on with life when you do this. Whether or not someone's around, the bonus is if someone's around, hey, or some, you know what I'm saying? Got the idea? Sorry, I'm sounding Italian there. You can tell? Got it? So, angles and curves in sitting and touching and walking. Make sense so far? Questions, comments? So far, so good? Beautiful. Yeah, sorry? Yes. You're loving this? Okay, tell me why. Exactly. You know, it's one of the common things is that we used to do this sometimes when in our 20s, and then we forget. And then depending on the generation or the culture that you were brought up with, it's kind of wrong to call attention to yourself. I was brought up in all of that. And if it wasn't for dancing that forced me to say, are you kidding me? We want to see a sensual woman on that floor, I still would have been the tomboyish girl, kind of not. And now, like, I love it. I do it all the time, everywhere when I can, because it makes me feel, I want to feel good with myself. So it's like my own personal drug, right? So I use my body to say, okay, it's time to go out there. So if I'm feeling kind of frumpy, boom, go for a walk, do my thing. I'll tell you, I even was doing this once at the airport, and like, because I travel a lot, and I was getting frustrated because I'm always traveling and I'm tired. So I said, okay, talk, you know, it's time to walk your talk. And I instantly did that. I leaned up against the wall. I did my stance. I started to touch and play. And all of a sudden, I started noticing men that were always there. But suddenly, I woke up again. And by the end, I had 3 or 4 conversations with wonderful men. So it just because it melted me as compared to in another energy where you're all day long getting stuff done. And it's the reality of the modern woman that we are incredibly multifaceted. There's many things that we do, and then we forget to kind of nurture this other part of ourselves. So it's a way to do that, so to remind yourself a little bit, you know, melt into that. And when a guy can appreciate that, all the better. Good? Any other questions or comments? Yes, go ahead. Yes. I know. I agree. Yeah, no, I know. Her question is very, are you finished? Okay, so her comment is, we work so hard for equality to really attain a certain kind of the rights that women have fought for these rights, and now we're in a place where we are financially where we could have never imagined, and sometimes it feels a little like less to have to do all of this, and I get that, and I appreciate that. And part of it for me is we're in a world where it's a lot about instant gratification, and people make judgments very quickly based on you, unfortunately. Veux pas, in the first 90 seconds, we're going to decide yes or no. It's horrible, but it's true. So if you learn to do this, it's to allow someone to get to your heart. You may need to do this. For me, it feels good personally because I am always like in this other space. So I actually enjoy the feeling of being melted. But I also know to be given a chance, I may need to do this because I might get missed. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I just said? Yes? Yes. Oh, you understood? Okay, you're agreeing. So that's sort of the both premises. Do it because if you don't even have to do it. I'm not even saying that you need to. If you're here, it's because you're curious and you're saying maybe I can embody this. I understand that because I often feel the same way. What else do I need to learn, for crying out loud? You know, another thing to add to my plate. But now I've changed it to say it's how I feed myself because I feel When I'm too much in that masculine space, I really get depleted emotionally, physically, mentally, in many ways. I know it's not all of me. So I do this to nurture myself. And I do this even though in the end, if we talk about men, I want him to see him for who I am on the inside. But the reality is we do it as women to them too. We make judgments in the first 30, 90 seconds of seeing him. Yes, no, unfortunate. We do it to each other. So once you understand the power of the nonverbal, you say, well, how do I up my chances so that I am heard, so that I am noticed? So that would be my comment to that. Make sense? Cool. Any other comments? Yes. What's that? Self-touch? No. Yes, when you look, yes. Eye contact? Yes, eye contact or how we position. Your head? Okay, good. So head. Another vulnerable part of the woman's body is her neck. It's a vulnerable area. So head tilts allow the exposure of the vulnerable area. So if I'm with someone or not, as soon as she did it, like when you had done a little boom, it just exposed a vulnerability. And that's extremely beautiful in a woman. And so sometimes a head tilt just allows that to happen. And then eye contact is the call to action. So if you maintain eye contact, which is extremely uncomfortable, but you count till 3 to 5 seconds, or you say, I see you, do you see me? In your head, not out loud, right? And then you keep it long enough as you say those words, then hopefully, but men have been rejected by women who do approach, right? There's men who have come up and approach, and then she goes, well, no, I'm not into you. So he has to do the walk of shame back. Like it's tough. I teach men, and I know one of their things, okay, I got to go ask her to dance. Yes, you do. But then if she says no, she won't. But she might, because it's happened. And then they got to go back and go, Jesus, I got to go back there and do the walk of shame. It really is. So they need many extended, long eye contacts to say it's okay. But today, especially with sexual harassment and all kinds of stuff, you may need to even do a little bit more as a woman to say it's really okay. I'm not going to say no. And that might be from a compliment to the guy, or it might be from noticing your environment and making a comment on, hey, this is, I'm not sure, do this in line if there's a guy next to you and you kind of think he's interesting and you know which muffin you want, but you really want his opinion, and you say, what kind of muffin would you pick? I'm not quite sure. You could do that with a stranger, and you just did an approach. Now, he may do something or he may not. You might do all of this, and he still, whatever, But he might not. I know. Guys do it. I'm just saying, okay, we're doing all this so that you do the approach. But he might not. I know. But don't stop trying, because there's some that will take it that extra, because they want to be certain, they're not sure. And then here's another thing about men and women. We have very wide peripheral vision, actually 30% more than men. Men have tunnel vision, so they don't even see it. They don't. They might not see it. So you need to step into their vision. I'm exaggerating. Yes. So that they see it. And I experienced this in dancing because a war zone for a man is a ballroom dance floor, because he's got to take you and he's got to dance you around that floor and not make you bump into somebody while listening to the music and deciding what step to do next. It's a war zone in his mind. He has a smaller corpus callosum. Did you know that? We have a highway, they have a thin one. So they're in this lobe, and then by the time they get to this lobe, it takes forever, and then they get to this lobe. When we have a 10-lane highway and we're going ta-ti, ta-ta, pa-pa, pa-pa, back and forth. Yeah, in our brain. So on top of that, genetically, it's actually smaller, so they can't. Or less so. It's not that they can't, okay? It's not that they can't, but less so. So all that to say, and the peripheral vision is less. So it happens to me all the time. The guys will walk around, they'll bump me into something that was there forever. It's like that chair was been there and it hasn't moved, but he'll still manage to bump me in because it was in that zone or whatever. He's in one lobe. So it happens. So you have to have some sort of compassion in the process of knowing some of these differences is they might not see that, So They said that also? The cues. They do. We see everything. We have eyes in the back of our heads. On voit tout, tout, tout. I know what you're wearing and probably this, all of it. Men, their vision is different. Their actual peripheral vision and the way they, so that's why you might need to step into their zone a bit more. And it might feel very obvious to you. It's like, geez, I got to practically, I know. Hello. What are you going to do? I know. So, it's the reality. But men are also like the men that are here, I find are actually open to the idea of, I think I need to adjust something even within myself. So these type of environments are people that are wanting to change or grow or learn more. So that's already yay, because they're here to say, okay, let me be open to what's going on. So that means their vision is actually more than let's say someone who doesn't come to these events. I believe. My feeling is that. So events like these have people that are much more open to what's out there, let's change, let's this, as compared to people that don't. It's not mean that they're bad, but I'm just saying, Make sense? Any other, yes? Yes. To walk? To run. Oh, to run. Okay. Okay, I do run a little bit. I do. I don't know if there's a feminine way, but there's a smile. So if I'm running and I see someone that's interesting, I smile and I might run and follow him like this. And they do a double take. You'd be surprised how when you pass and you look and they probably did this. Or you can do this. Make it fun. I would say that if you really follow him on the run. Tu sais, tant qu'à être, pourquoi pas? If he's very fast, I'd never be able to keep up with on the fly. That's pretty good. Viter, let's go. Let's run. So, did that help you? Why not? Smile, run backwards, follow him. Just fall. Oops. Oh, that's a good one. Trip. Yes, with a curve. Oops. Yes, and that's right. That's right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But we say that because really, in the end, why we want to be. There's another thing. I don't know if they talked about it in another conference, but at the base of every man is a need to be a hero, and it's true. It really is. And d'être un héros, dans le fond. And we're not in a time where they used to go to battle and they'd get that out of their system and come back. Now the war is life. It's work. It's the bus. It's the train. That's war, right? It's traffic. That's war for them. So in the end, they're always looking for little ways to be someone's hero. Even if we know how to do it all and we can take care of it really, really well, watch yourselves. And one of the things that you may not be realizing how you are, things like if you interrupt him a lot, you're kind of telling him, I don't kind of like what you have to say. So are you an interrupter? Watch that. Because that's kind of saying what you're saying is not respectful or is as important as what I have to say. That's even just amongst people, but women, if you put a bunch of women together, watch them talk. We talk over each other. We do. I'm with my girlfriends and I don't know who to listen to. You sit with a group of men, one guy speaks. Yeah. Next guy speaks. Yeah. Next guy speaks. Yeah. Right? Women, it's all that. So we have to adjust when we're with the guy as to how we show up even in our conversation, because we always interrupt each other. Men don't. It's an extreme disrespectful move to do that. So in your conversations, are you always interrupting? Another thing, are you correcting? Do you tend that he says something, he says, yeah, but there's a better way to do that? Does he really need to know that? I mean, he's survived his whole life doing it his way. Does he need to know the better way? Unless he asks, don't bother. Really, it's not going to make or break anything. One of a prime example is when and this happened to me, like driving and they get lost and they don't know where they're going, but you know the way. And you so want to tell him, zip it. He'll figure it out. Because he knows what's going on in his brain and he's trying to. Just like, yeah, when we get there, we get there. No big deal. But the second you step into that correcting and telling him how the better way to do it, it's, I know, it's hard because we do know, but you can't. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Organized, sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, there's some of the similarities where because they're trying to organize everything, and if you're talking, I mean, specifically, especially in that situation where we were lost, and it's not like. So he was going to figure it out, and we did, and we got back safe, and everything was fine. And he says, I don't know if you knew, but we were lost. I was like, really? Of course I knew. Of course. Said, but you got us back safe. Was that going to win me points to have to say, of course I knew you were lost, you idiot? No, I don't, like, why? Even if it was a female friend, really, do we need to go there, right? It's just the idea of, he'll figure it out. He's a grown man. She's a girl, whoever it is, right? I think we underestimate. But again, it's when we're always in taking care of things, we don't realize we mean it in a wonderful way. We're really trying to actually help. It's not like we're trying to diminish the situation, but we don't realize that every time we do that, it makes him feel like less of the guy that can take care of it, if you will. So things like interrupting or like educating or correcting him can come across as emasculating him in a way. Now, again, doesn't mean you're not allowed to have opinions. Doesn't mean any of that. It means you just share your opinion. Like there's a moment to share it and then you share it and you say, but I feel this way. And I feel like, this is how I feel about that. And that's it, you're sharing it, but you're not telling him, I think you're wrong. He could have his opinion like you could have yours, in that sense. Does that make sense that good? Any other questions or comments? No. So you'll be able to use all of this right after today. You're going to stand up and walk differently now. Is that it? My eyes are on you. I'm watching. Got it? Men walk like this, ladies walk like that. Lean back. So I hope you enjoyed it. And really the whole point of this was to have simple little physical tools to transition from what you do every day, which is probably like me or anybody else, where you're much more in your masculine energy of, taking care of things, goals, strategizing, and now being in this place of receiving and playful and flirtatious. Like, how do I get there? So for me, my physicality gets me right in that mode. Boom. Shoom. Okay. Now I'm open a bit more to it. The ice is beginning to melt. And then I switch to this. And that's really the idea, is to be able to do that for yourselves and then see what happens. See how it changes your environment. You become an orchestrator of it, actually. It's really cool. Good? So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can come and see me. Be glad to help. Thank you.